Okay, my friends, welcome today. Today we're going to be dealing with figure and ground. That's a figure, an object in the background or a background color. Another way of talking about this is positive space and negative space. In this case, the H is the figure or the positive space, and the background is the ground, and the R, which sits in front of the H, matches the same color and shape and kind of cuts through the H as the background. So to begin this assignment, we're going to go and open up the template, clicking on the template there. That will open up this screen. And the first thing I'll notice is that it's all white. For this assignment right now, I'm going to change the background to a gray color, or actually any kind of color. So I'm going to go over here, change it to gray, click on edit fill and say okay. And so now I have a gray in the background. This will make it a lot easier for me to work with. Then I'm going to go and click on the text tool. I'm going to select Concert One. In this case, I want you to go looking through, experimenting with different fonts that works for you, usually a thick font for your first letter of your first name. In my case, I'm going to use a size 1100 that will fill the entire screen, and I'm going to use black. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the screen and do a capital T. And then I'm going to grab it with my move tool and move it into the middle of the screen. You'll see there's this red cross that shows up. So now I know it's in the middle of the screen. Next thing I want to do is I want to collect the text tool again. I want to find a different font, another one that works with this, and one that's a little bit more serpentine. So I'm going to scroll through here and see if I can find something that is a little bit there. Let's try this. Devon. Oh, shoot. We got that. Had this layer selected. So I want to select the background before I do this. So go back. Devonshire selected. I'm going to go 600 pixels, and I'm going to go white. So I'm going to change this to white, pure white. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and click not on the T because it's going to select the T, but off the T. And I'm going to do an F, a capital F, which is kind of a unique space. You can see that it's underneath or behind the T. So I'm going to bring that on my text layer over here. I'm going to lift it over it. And then I'm just going to try to position it. So let's see here. What I'm going to also do is I'm going to change my background color. Switch that. I'm going to go back to white. I'm going to fill it with my background color. Or does it give me, I can fill it with white. And I'll say yes to that. Now I'll take my F and I want to kind of just see if I can position it so that it lines up. This line that seems to continue up here, this almost touches right there, and this almost touches there. So actually 600 pixels was a good selection. The next thing I want to do is now I got the figure ground situation occurring, a positive and negative space. The background looks like it's cutting up the foreground object. But next thing I want to do is I want to put a texture in there. So I'm going to look for a texture. In this case, I'm going to find these rocks. I'm going to click on it. It's going to drop the rocks in. You can notice it's at the top. I'm going to bring it to the bottom, back behind everything. Let me hide this palette. Oops, don't want to do that. I want to make sure I have the box selected. I want to go and edit and transform and scale it to the size of the T in this case. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to select the two upper layers. I want to preserve those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate them just in case I make mistakes. I'm going to duplicate those layers, and you can see it says F copy, T copy. And then down here, I can click on new folder, and it'll save both of those into a folder. Now what I can do with these two texts because I have them working together. I can rasterize them and go to Layer, Rasterize. I've got them both selected, and now they've become pictures. I can also transform them even further. I can select, if I don't quite like the F on top of it, I can go Edit, Distort, and I can start to, play around with it in different ways. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just kind of sit there. I also forgot that my other layer here, the folder, I want to hide that right here. So now that I have everything like this, I want to select my T, go to my magic wand, and make sure my feather is at 0, tolerance is at 1, and then I want to select the T. There I have it selected. Once I have it selected, I want to hide that layer over here and select the background texture. Next thing I want to do is I want to add what we call a layer mask or a raster mask. I click on it and it adds this mask to it that blocks out anything around the selected area. So now I have a really cool image with a texture. My letter of my background has this texture in it. I can play around with it even further. I can add a layer style like a drop shadow. In this case, I can move that drop shadow around. I like this blue. I'm going to keep that blue. It's kind of like like it shines, and I can say OK to that. So there we have it. I've done this texture, this foreground and background, or figure and ground, or positive and negative space. And the last thing I want to do is I want to save it as a Photoshop document, a PSD, to my downloads folder. That will show up right here in my downloads folder. And I also want to save it, export it as a JPEG file to upload it to the classroom. And that too will go down to my downloads folder. So that's it. The next thing you have to do is just upload it to the classroom. And we are done. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.